Welcome back, transport enthusiasts. My name, of course, is Orbital Potato, and this is Transport Fever Blitz. So, today's episode is going to be all about the East Coast Mainline, probably my favorite train line in the entirety of the UK. Is that a thing that people can have, a favorite train line? It doesn't particularly matter anyway. I'm really excited to start work on it. Before we do, however, I'd like to quickly address what you are seeing on the screen at present. So this is a little bit of a project that I was working on. Didn't take very long. Didn't cost that much money. Cost about 300,000 in roads, and then we need to buy some stagecoaches as well, which we're about to do. And this is the Midlands Potato buses. So we've set up 3 routes here. One which goes around all of the 5 cities that you can see right here, and then one which goes between Worcester. Is that how you say it? Not entirely sure about that. Worcester and Northampton, and then another route which goes between Birmingham and Banbury. So this, hopefully, should just try and make us a little bit more money. Thank you for all of the kind comments and the suggestions in the comments of the first episode of this series. It's greatly appreciated. If you've got any feedback, if you've got any comments, I would love to hear them. I'm constantly looking for ways to improve the transport network. Okay, let me. Sure, 6. Maybe we'll put 6 on the round trip route. I feel that we might need more on the round trip route, but we'll give it a shot. Alright, so that puts 18 every 11 minutes. I think that's honestly fine. I don't want to go too over the top. 1, 2, 3. Let's buy 3 and then stick that on the express service, and then buy 3 more and put that on that service over there. So that's 8 minutes and that's 11 minutes. I mean, it's not as frequent as the Luton corridor. However, this is more countryside based, and therefore I'm not super bothered about it. We're gonna let it slide for a little bit and hope that things work out. Okay, let's not unpause because I want to talk about the main thrust of this episode. And boy, oh boy, I am so unbelievably excited. So, the East Coast Mainline was originally comprised of 3 different bits of rail track, maintained by a bunch of different rail companies, actually. But then in 1923, they were all amalgamated into what we know in Britain as the East Coast Mainline today. So, that's what we're going to try and replicate. I'm conscious of the fact that we're not going to be able to replicate it absolutely perfectly, but we're going to get it as near as we possibly can. So let's first take a little look at where the East Coast Mainline actually runs from. So it starts off in London at the iconic King's Cross station. Now I'm thinking that in terms of putting King's Cross station, we want it to be to the north of the city. But at the same time, we don't really want to stick it, out on a limb out here or connecting to this country road over there. So my idea would be to put King's Cross station right about here. Maybe we demolish a house or 2 and connect up a road, or maybe we demolish a house over here and connect it up to this side. Anyway, either over here or over here, pointing north, that is the point. That's what we're after. We really want a terminal station. We want to try and make a nice big one. I don't know if we really want... Oh, goodness gracious me. I don't really know if we want an 8 track station at the moment. I mean, that is going to cost a very large amount of money. However, especially if we go for a very long station, that is going to cost a lot of money. However, we'll have to see. I mean, that's a little bit more reasonable out there. That's $1 million. That's $1 million, and that's the longest set of tracks that we can possibly get. Oh, goodness gracious me! You don't like that, do you, video game? Yeah, so we've got to be conscious of the fact that we don't have an unlimited pool of money to draw from. Oh goodness, it actually gets relatively cheap out here. I mean, there is always the hope that London could grow around this station, but it's not very northerly. We want it to be somewhere in the north of the city. Anyway, that's an issue for later. Let's talk about the route first. So it starts off in London. And then the next station on the line, or the next station on the line that is also a city in this game, I should say, is Peterborough. So we're gonna have to come from London to Peterborough. That in itself is quite a distance, actually. But you know what? That's fine. In reality, there's quite a bunch of stations in between Peterborough and and London, but obviously only one is represented in this game. So Peterborough, after Peterborough, we're going to head on up to Doncaster. After Doncaster, we are going to head to York. Now, it's interesting to note that at Doncaster, there is actually a branch to Leeds just up here. So I was thinking that if possible, we might be able to replicate that branch. So if we have the station, you know, to the right of Doncaster, or even to the left, actually, it doesn't actually matter. I did that the wrong way around. Left, right, there we go. We can have a splitting line up to Leeds and up to York. So yeah, Peterborough to Doncaster, fairly understandable. But up to York is the main East Coast main line. After York, we're going to bypass Middlesbrough because Middlesbrough doesn't actually appear on the line. And we're going to go to Newcastle. And then, finally, or should I say penultimately, because Berwick-upon-Tweed is actually on the line, even though it's a very, very small city, or very small town in the game, and actually in reality as well. I don't think the population is huge. But that's on the map, and then we head over to Edinburgh. So we're going to need to make it curve right around here. Either through this, well, I wanted to say mountain, but it looks more like a little hill. Whatever the case, we're going to want to curve around through here and then over into Edinburgh. Now, that is where the East Coast Mainline finishes up. However, the East Coast Mainline goes all the way up to Aberdeen, actually, just over here. So if we wanted to, and if we had enough money, which I strongly doubt that we will that we will have after we've finished all of this construction, then we could branch out from Edinburgh up to Dundee, up to Aberdeen, and that would be the East Coast Main Line in its entirety, from its southernmost point to its northernmost point. Although, actually, in saying that, the East Coast Main Line does also head out to Glasgow. There's another little branch that I was talking about. Even though it officially terminates in Edinburgh, it still connects to Glasgow. And then just between the Glasgow and Edinburgh sections, you can actually take a route up through Stirling to Aviemore and then up to Inverness, which is actually the northernmost point on the line, although that's not officially on the line, so to speak, because it's part of a branch. So that's what we're going to try and do. That's the aim of the game. We're going to start off down in London, and we're just going to work our way up relatively smoothly up to Peterborough, Doncaster, York, Newcastle, Berwick-upon-Tweed, Edinburgh. That's gonna be it. And of course, we're gonna have to try and get a whole bunch of trains to populate the line. And it's not gonna be an easy endeavor. It's not gonna be a cheap endeavor. It's gonna cost us a lot of money. I'm very, very hopeful that the government doesn't have to step in and give us any cash. We've got the buses for that. But I am conscious that, you know, we got a time limit, and we got to make sure that we're ready for 1940. So we'll have to wait and see. Right, so the first course of action is, of course, going to be determining where we place these stations. Now, I've got a whole bunch of mods installed that will make placing stations in the future much, much, much easier. However, for now, what I think we want to do is we want to stick with the basic terminal station. We want to absolutely restrict the length of the platform to the shortest that we possibly can, and then we also want to measure the number of tracks, the number of tracks that we have in the station. So I think 4 is probably fine. We'll keep the curvature to a minimum as well. Now, I've played around, as I was saying, with the areas that I think will work best for King's Cross Station, and I've come to the determination that if we demolish those 2 houses right there, then we'll end up with a fairly good portion of the northern bit of the city connected up. And if we do it like so, yeah, so 359,000, 353,000, 350,000, 350,000 for a station for a massive, I mean, fairly massive. I mean, it's the first train station on the map, for goodness sake. So, I mean, it is the biggest station here. I think that is fine. We've also got to bear in mind we're gonna want more. We're gonna want more stuff. We're gonna want more space in this station in the future, coming into London. However, for now, it's going to be just used for passengers. So, without further ado, there we go. Let's get that placed down. Okay, looks pretty nice actually. We only had to demolish 2 houses. Of course, I'm not thrilled about the fact that I had to demolish 2 houses, but it is what it is. Anyway, on to Peterborough, and let's think where we want to put this. I think that honestly, we don't really need to worry too much about the number of platforms over here. So I'm going to try and restrict that to 2, so we have one for each direction of travel. And I really would like to avoid, if possible, demolishing any houses for this. I mean, that, to be honest, seems like the best place that it could possibly go. You know what? That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. If we were to increase the number of tracks, would that make a difference? No, not really. Increase the length of the... No. So the only thing that we could possibly do is put it closer to the center of town, which I'm just not willing to do. But at the same time, we don't want to run the risk of having, you know, trains that are just too far, or train stations that are too far out of town that they just don't get any passengers. Okay, so that's one option. What about the other option of down here? And where is what's the residential housing look like? Okay, the residential housing is primarily over here. So is there any way that maybe we can squeeze the station in over here? I mean, that is all of the good residential housing over there. Although there's a bunch of good residential housing over here too. I think we want to do this. That means that in the future we can use this as a goods line as well. Although we're going to want to probably get more stations, or at least delete this station. Anyway, I think that that's fine. Let's get that in place. Okay, on to Doncaster next. We'll keep this overlay on for now, as it'll help us determine where exactly we want to place the station. I think that this is a fairly easy choice. Yep. It's alright. We just need to take out a little bit of a loan. A small loan of $500,000. Okay, that is looking fine. There we go. Okay, then we're going to go up to York over here. And in York, it's going to be a similar situation. Just try and squeeze in as many houses as we possibly can. It would actually probably work slightly better if we had the station up there in terms of connectivity and getting the track to fit in somewhere. Although it works better here for access to residential homes. Okay, let's get that in there. 113,000, that's fine. Okay, after York, we're off up to Newcastle. I'm going to skip Leeds by for now. Okay, Newcastle. Yep. Newcastle. Ooh, this looks like a perfect location for a station. Okay. It's going to be a little bit of a pain to connect up the track over here. But I'm not going to let that deter me. Let's get that locked and loaded. Okay, perfect. Berwick upon Tweed. Yeah, I mean, I'm not thrilled about building a station over here because it's such a small place. Definitely can't go over there. It looks like it's got to go over here. Yeah, I mean, I don't like any placement for this town, but we'll roll with it for now because of historical accuracy or whatever. Right, get that down. That's a heck of a lot of money. And then we're going to want to get a probably not a terminal station in Edinburgh, because we're going to obviously want to continue the main line at some point, and we're also going to want to head out to Glasgow. So what about if we can squeeze that in there? That's actually a pretty darn good station, you know? I'm going to make it a slightly larger station. The irritating thing about this area is that it looks like we're going to have to do a little bit of minor terraforming. Right. Borrow another 500,000. Unable to align terrain? Really? What if we get a little bit of curvature? Will that cheapen? No, we're still apparently unable to align the terrain. And that really is because of the height differential, I think. And that is okay. That is a problem. Well, we can always do. Can always do it over here. That's a darn sight cheaper actually as well. So, sure. Let's get that in place. We can always fix the sort of wonky nature of our stations by getting a good old bus service within the cities, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, let's try and connect up the legs sequentially. By that I mean let's get the London to Peterborough leg set up, and then let's immediately start trying to run a service on that. Obviously, we're going to want to run services on the whole length of it. However, if we start right now running services, then maybe, just maybe, we can start recouping some of our investment fairly quickly. Okay, so the station in Peterborough is over there. I think we'd like to cross. I mean, what does the sort of lay of the land look like? I mean, it's not really ideal anywhere. I suspect maybe we want to come around this way and head over there. Yeah, let's give that a shot. See if that makes any difference. I'm not going to worry too much about the terminal stations at the moment. We're gonna deal with that. We're gonna deal with the whole track system once we've got a basic plan in place. Okay, so it's gonna cost us 162,000 just to bridge out of there. All right, this is gonna be a very expensive line. Right, just out of curiosity, what is the price that you would cost me to get all the way to Peterborough? I mean, I know that it's sacrilegious to follow the computer's suggestions, but it would be interesting nonetheless. It would actually work, apart from the fact that I don't have anywhere near enough money to do it. And of course, I'm making the world's longest tunnel underneath the town of Luton. Although it's kind of cool to think that we could actually do that. I love long tunnels. I like long bridges. Very cool indeed. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious me, it's just so unbelievably expensive. Yeah, but we want to come around to like here. That's what we want. That's the sort of area that we want to get to. Okay. Am I super worried about speed at the moment? Not particularly. Right. Let's take the track up to here. And then let's try and just do it sequentially from now on. In little chunks so that we can get there. So that we can get there reasonably easily. Okay. And literally just over to Peterborough. Now we're talking. Alright, let's have a little look. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Honestly, if prices continue like this, then I'm gonna be a very happy chappy. Okay, cut through there. How do you figure that? Okay. We'll just take it bit by bit. And we should be totally fine. Okay, great. So that's pretty much the connection to Peterborough sorted. And we've still got gas in the tank. We've still got a lot of money left. Now. Okay, good. What do you quote me for that? 41,000? I mean, I can do it cheaper. Speed is not a problem. Speed is not a problem at the moment. We're going to have to redo a whole bunch of track to optimize for speed anyway, so I'm really not worried about that. I'm really not worried about that whatsoever. Okay. I'm going to try and double the track up just because I want to have that facility available from the get-go so that we're all in on planning proper, you know, proper train protocol, proper signaling, all of that good stuff. So let's get that all sorted. And let's do a path signal there. And put that right over there. Okay, so that's just a quick little self-indication, really, as to which way the trains will be allowed to go, and it's just a little reminder to myself that that is how we're gonna do it. Okay, what's the total cost to double this track up? I know it's looking very, very stuttery at the moment, but oh, come on. How is this not allowed? Okay, 1.6 million. Well, I know for a fact that you can go cheaper than that video game, so, you know. Yeah, see, that's 24,000 to jewel a good third of the track. Okay, 81, 107, 131. Okay, you don't like that. You don't like it. You don't like it past here. That's fine. Okay, well, let's jewel that bit, and then let's continue down here. Good stuff. There we go. Okay, so a little bit expensive, but, you know, we got there in the end. No harm, no foul. Okay, perfect. We'll just use these two tracks for now. Let's not invoke any extra track that is unnecessary. In fact, we probably don't even need to get a second track in play over here. We'll just roll with one track for now. How about that? Sure. Okay, let's get signals down, and the signals we want to indicate that direction of travel. Okay, perfect. That's great. Now we want to set up a depot. We want to absolutely make sure that the trains can get to where they need to go. The best place to do that is probably where the land is reasonably flat. Land looks reasonably flat over here. Yeah, so I'll take that. And it's just entry on one side, so it's probably best if we put it on this side going in that direction. So it goes towards London. So London will be the first pickup point. That's the wrong bit. I do not need that. I need that. There we go. Perfect. All right, great. Now we're going to start running a ridiculously long-range service. We're going to start running a ridiculously long-range service for the year. Was this a long service to the year? That's maybe a little bit OTT. Oh, look, you can buy different camera trains. It's another mod that I've got installed. That's a fun fact for you. Okay, so the GWR, Great Western Rail specific type of train. I mean, the maximum speed on this bad boy is 60 kilometers per hour. Do we really need a 60 kilometer per hour train? I think that actually we kind of do. I kind of want a train to not be super slow. But it's more really the power that's the issue. Yeah, tractive effort. I mean, what do we want? Maybe we just settle for the slightly cheaper train. But it's a Swiss train, and therefore I can't bring myself to actually do that. We're gonna have to buy a properly British train if we want to make sure that we remain proud in the world. All right, we've taken out a $4.5 million loan, which is quite interesting. What do we want? I think I want a slightly faster train. Yeah, let's get a slightly faster train. Yeah. passenger engines of this period, that's perfect. This is exactly what we're after. Okay, so let's get this up and running. How many carriages? Probably not that many carriages. We want a carriage that will be able to GWR short coach. Nice. That will be able to deal with the high speed of the train. I think honestly, one carriage, that seems like a little bit ridiculous. However, I think that is absolutely what we need, given the fact that we don't have any demand on the line yet, because of course we're still waiting. Okay, let's get a brand new line up and running. This is going to be called the Potato Train Network. The Potato Train Network, East Coast Mainline. Potato Train Network, East Coast Mainline, London to Peterborough. All right, fantastic. This is looking delightful. Let's go and have a little look at this train as it emerges from the depot, because boy oh boy, I'm excited. Oh, you can just about see it in the depot there. It's about to emerge. Let's unpause for the second time in the game, but the first time for realsies. And let's keep a very, very close eye on our finances. Let's not look at the red numbers. Let's just ignore all the red numbers for now. As I say, we can only take 6 passengers, so it's gonna be pretty unprofitable train for a while, I would imagine, as we're gonna have to run probably more than 6 passengers in order to make it feasible, but hey-oh. What's the regularity of this train? Every 10 minutes? That's not bad going. That is not bad going whatsoever. Have any of our routes started making money yet? No. But we're very, very early on, so I'm not super worried about that whatsoever. Look at that gorgeous British locomotive. That is just fantastic. Can we all just take a moment to admire that? Truly delightful. Yes, as I sort of say, we're gonna hopefully get this train up to top speed. 60 kilometers per hour, I think. I'm not super worried about the speed, though. The speed is definitely secondary to the profits, which I very much like to make. Anytime, really. 497 bucks. All right. It's all got to start somewhere, I guess. And let me just have a quick little look to see if the pathing worked as intended. Indeed, it did. That's perfect. So we've already set up the direction of the track, and fingers crossed that is going to continue into the future, and we can just manipulate the tracks further on from Peterborough to make sure that they adhere to the same signal setup that we've got going on down here. That is a funky little bump, but that's okay. 47 kilometers per hour. Don't mind if I do. That's pretty darn good going. That is pretty darn good going. Alright, no one, of course, is here to be picked up, but that's okay. I'm very, very hopeful that from the next journey onwards, we're going to be able to pick someone up. That's the plan anyway. Okay, that's leg 1 completed. Let's start work on the second leg. Let's get the contours out so that we at least have a rough idea of where we should be going. You know what? This is actually quite a nice bit of land. It's ridiculously flat. Okay. Yeah, I could get used to this. I could definitely get used to this. Let's try and fit it through the nice little valley that we've discovered here. Okay. Okay, it wasn't that nice a valley. Looks like the height here is not as nice as it was on the other side of the valley. But that's okay. Okay. And I've taken from the left track. I think I've taken from the left track anyway, so I'm going to want to input to the left track as well on this side. Perfect. And then once again, let's double it up. Maybe doubling it up isn't a great idea, but I mean, it's fine. Yeah, you know what? There's no real reason for us to double it up right now. Just thinking expense-wise, we might as well spend that, you know, 200,000 on another train. Yeah, why not? Let's absolutely do that. Let's buy a carriage as well, and let's set up a brand new line. There we go, perfect. And it will be between Doncaster and Peterborough. And this will be the PTN East Coast Mainline. Don to Pete. There we go. Perfect. And you guys can just start right now. Unable to find path stop. Is that because... Is that because you're not allowed up this way? I mean, this should work. Is it just because you're not on the line? Is that the problem? Alright. Well, I wasn't planning to do this, but if that's not working for whatever reason, then that's okay. We can, you know, we can make a slight amendment. The slight amendment is that we're going to get a track which bypasses Peterborough. And comes down here. Right, that there. And that in there. Sure. And that way, we should be absolutely fine to get this train over there. Oh no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Alright, well that was a slightly wasted endeavor. Is there no way that you can go to Peterborough first, by any chance? Will that work? Okay. I mean, the path is just through Peterborough. Oh, I know what the problem is. I know exactly what the problem is. The problem is that we don't have a connection from the depot out to the return line. Yeah, okay, that's a hot little bit of bother that that we're in. Yeah, so I mean, unless we want to get ourselves a brand new depot. In fact, you know what? Let's just get ourselves a brand new depot. For all the 20 grand that it's worth, let's just do it. Alright, get that in place. There we go. Peterborough, Doncaster, that route is set up. That's fine. Sell that. Buy the train. Buy that. Alright, great. You know what? You live and you learn. And we're doing a heck of a lot of learning and a heck of a lot of living. Am I right? Alright, great. You're en route. Perfect. We can get rid of this stupid little bypass. But in all seriousness, getting a stupid little bypass is something that I want to do. It's going to be especially nice for express services. Goodness me, that's a little loud. It's going to be especially nice for express services. However, we don't have a need for express services at the moment. In fact, express services are, I mean, not necessary in the slightest. Right, how's our train? It's puffing away. How's our finances? They've been better. We've not lost any money on the Doncaster to Peterborough route yet, but I'm full of hope that we will be able to lose money on that soon. Why are you stopping? Waiting for free path. Oh! Is that perchance because good old Potato didn't put any signals on the line? I think it is. Right. Right. Okay. Actually equip these as one-way signals now. They should have been one-way from the start. Right. They should all be one-way signals because there's only one direction of travel that these trains should actually be going in, which is perfect. Alright, we don't have any passengers on this train, but that's not actually a problem. When this train stops in Peterborough, hopefully it will start the passengers coming to the station, which means that by the time the London to Peterborough train actually arrives, there should be plenty of passengers waiting. Right. I want to see profit on one line. Just one route. One route would be just unbelievably fantastic. I mean, there are passengers. There are definitely passengers. Oh, look at this. There's loads of passengers. Yeah, it's looking good. Yeah, 5 passengers waiting for a pickup right here. Oh, and you blow right past. All right. Why'd you blow right past the station in Luton, huh? Not quite sure why that happened. Oh, you're picking them up now. All right, great. 4 out of 4. Okay, perfect. It is actually happening. Oh, there's no passengers on the orange line. That's fine. It's good. It's good. You know what? It's happening. We're slowly but surely gonna start to make money. How are things going over in the Midlands Potato buses? Not fantastically well, to be honest. Not had many passengers at the gates, but no matter whatsoever. Anyway, this is the Peterborough station, and it's been visited by at least one train, so that means that we should start to see some passengers assembling at the station. Do we have any lovely people walking to the station? Looks like we do. It looks indeed like we do. Nope, you've just gone for a walk. You've gone for a walk and you've just gone up to the station. Hey. All right, you're heading home as well. Anyone else heading towards the train station? As I said in the last episode, I would be delighted to offer a discount. Destination is the shop. I mean, that's irritating. Does anyone want to go to the train station? I'll pay you if you take the train. It makes me look good if I get more passengers on my trains. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Nobody at the London train station either. Nobody wants to go to Peterborough. Well, this is disappointing news. Just wait until the German bombers arrive. Let me tell you, Peterborough is going to become an idyllic place of rest. It's going to be some sweet relief. Let me tell you. You guys just wait. It's going to happen. Huh? All right, but you know what? I'm not too worried about things. We're going to start making money soon. It's just a question of how soon. That's the only issue in my mind. Anyway, let's not let this stop our expansion plans. I want to keep going to York. At the end of the day, At the end of the day, I'm here to make sure that we build the infrastructure. I'm not particularly bothered at the speed of which that infrastructure is populated and or used. Okay, let's get this to come out this way. So the primary objective is to make sure that we have the infrastructure in place by the specified time. 42,000. That's not too bad, actually. That is pretty darn good. That was a very, very easy connection. I gotta be honest. That was unbelievably easy. All right, still no passengers over there. Looks like we're running with no passengers from Peterborough to London again. That's quite disappointing. I would certainly hope that by the time that the next train arrives in London, we should have at least one passenger. Come on, one passenger, one stinking passenger. Unbelievably disappointed. And they all walk right up to the gates of the train station, just apparently for a giggle. They want to fool me. Unbelievable. Okay, so I'm gonna take out one more loan, and that is going to be the final train that I think that I'm going to be able to afford. Oh, yep, one more loan. So yes, one more loan. That is going to be the last passenger train that we buy, at least for now. That passenger train will go between York and Doncaster. So a relatively short route, actually. Yeah. But I'm stepping it. I'm doing the routes in steps. I don't know if that's a good plan. In fact, I'd probably wager that that's a pretty poor plan, actually. But no worries, no worries. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, the Potato Train Network. East Coast Mainline. And this is going to be from York to Doncaster. There we go. That's looking pretty darn good. Let's dispatch this train, and we should be perfect. There we go. Wonderful. Okay, so that leaves us with $188,000 in the bank. Now that money will disappear because of the running costs of running all of these lines at a loss, at least for now. We need to wait. We need to wait. We're going to start turning a profit soon. Just mark my words. There are people waiting. There are people waiting to be transported, and transport them we will. Oxford to Luton is apparently high in demand. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is pure cash money. Lots of cash money. Alright, why are you still waiting around? I want more cash money. The point is that we're actually starting to make at least what looks like a little bit of money, which is fantastic, and makes me feel a lot better about myself and also my plans for this series just in general. But that's fine. Oh, look at that, more cash money. Oh, this is just the greatest. This is just the greatest. This is just fantastic. Anyway, the point is that we've blown through most of our loan, or at least half of our loan. We've still got another 5 million of loans to go. But the rest of that 5 million of loans is going to be reserved for goods transportation. And that's what we're going to be focusing on in the future. So we've got an extra 191 million. Man, we are actually starting to make a little bit of money from those bus routes. None of them are running at a profit yet, but we're getting closer, I guess. So, yes, we've got another 190,000. Do we want to maybe connect up... Berwick-upon-Tweed and Edinburgh? What's the population of Berwick-upon-Tweed? Population is like 59. Edinburgh's population is 97. What about if we did a Glasgow to Edinburgh route? 161... to Edinburgh's 97. I mean, getting a Glasgow station would not be the most challenging thing in the world. Looks like it would fit quite nicely in there. Where's the residential area? Okay, maybe we could fit it right in there. I mean, that would be a pretty expensive station. However, Edinburgh and Glasgow are both relatively highly populated. I mean, in comparison to... Well, actually, I think Peterborough is actually quite highly populated as well. Let me have a look. Yeah, Peterborough's on 75 as opposed to London's 201. So Peterborough's actually more populated than quite a lot of places that we've gone to so far. Luton, for example, is 92. Okay, so Peterborough's actually underpopulated. All right. Well, that's fine, I guess. All right. Okay. Yeah. So the point that I was going to make there is kind of moot, but it's also kind of not moot, as Edinburgh does have a fairly large population, and so does Glasgow. What about Stirling? Stirling's on 75. Maybe we set up a bus route. Yeah, I'm gonna set up a bus route. I'm gonna set up a bus route between Edinburgh and Glasgow, purely because they're two cities that I know, and they've also got fairly large populations. So that's kind of fun. All right. I do not love this terrain, though. Okay, good. Let's just try and bring it around the coast in a way that is not horrifically expensive. As I've already said, I'm not prepared to spend any more money on passenger transport. Not yet, anyway. That will have to wait until later on in the game. Let's come up this hill here. Okay, good. Oh, very, very expensive, this. Right, I didn't appreciate how hilly Scotland was until I started building roads through it. Okay, okay, maybe I'll take out one more loan. Maybe I'll take out one more loan. Okay. Right, one more loan. And it's only gonna be for a very, very small... A very, very small project. Which is, of course, to connect up Glasgow and Edinburgh. Okay, but after this, it's no more loans for passenger transport. Okay, can we get two stations, or two pickups in Edinburgh? Also, I've started placing stations at opposite sides of the road. I'm not sure if that really makes any difference, but it's something, I guess. Okay. So with that, let's set up a route. Now, I feel a little bit bad about doing this route because it's not really part of the whole East Coast Mainline theme, is it? Okay, there to there, and then over to here. There. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if picking people up at different sides of the road makes a difference. EDI to Gla. Again, not super over the moon about my naming convention for this route, but that's what we're gonna roll with for now. Yeah, it's fine for now. It's fine. Okay, let's place a depot down here. Also, this will be our first. In fact, this is our first proper road development in Scotland. So it's symbolic in a sense, very symbolic. Here we go, road depot. 21 grand. You can't do me any better than 21 grand. That's good. As cheap as possible, please. I'm already overspending on passengers, and I don't really want to overspend anymore. Right. Set all to the Edinburgh to Glasgow line. And begin. Great. Okay. So that puts us in a position where we've got 363,000 left in the bank. We've got a 4.5 million $4.5 million loan, and that is all going to be focused, hopefully, on making sure that we grow London and grow it into a properly big city. So, yeah, that's what we're saving the money for, and that's what we're going to do going forward, I would suspect. Still no passengers on the way to Peterborough. Any passengers from Peterborough wanting to go anywhere else? No. Disappointing. The good citizens are not supporting me, and that's a deep shame. It's a travesty, in fact. But I'm sure that will change. I'm sure that will change in the future. And the great thing is that once we've got these tracks in place, which we now do, we can also use these for goods transport. We're not going to be using that in the short term, but it's an option that we now have available to us. So, another episode of Transport Fever Blitz is done. And I feel that we're gathering speed. We're gathering speed and we're looking at beautiful trains and everything is fantastic. I'm really, really happy with the direction that we're going in. I'm pretty happy with the East Coast Mainline. Even though we didn't technically have enough money to get all the way to Edinburgh, getting to York is not too bad, actually. We've just got Berwick-upon-Tweed, where we've already got a station, and then obviously just on to Edinburgh after that. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with that, and I think that's going to keep us going for a while. As I say, it's all about getting the infrastructure down into the ground, and hopefully then we can use that to springboard our people away from the center of London when the time of the Blitz comes around. But anyway, moving forward, I think what we need to do is try and focus on industry, because we need to get London up to a sufficiently large size. I am conscious of the fact that you know, we've only played about a year in-game time, so we've still got about 90 years, just less than that, 89 years left in the game. So we're not short of time. We've got time on our side. However, it's the early stages. We want to get everything set up as quickly, as swiftly as possible, hopefully, so that we can make a little bit more money and make the country proud come 1940. But anyway, ladies and gents, thank you very, very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.